welcome back to the Eclectic Sam YouTube channel, and welcome to my eclectic corner of YouTube, where I predominantly talk about reselling, thrifting, selling in general. But from time to time, I'll do some stories, talk about history, do some general vlogging and stuff like that, because I'm Eclectic Sam. I'm eclectic. If you haven't already, see down below that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that. It doesn't cost you a thing and it helps me out. Plus it gives you the ability to see what's coming in the future. Today I'm going to add to my little series that I've been wanting to do called Ordinary History. Basically stories of things that have happened in the past. So far it's just been me, but hopefully once the COVID stuff dies down, I'll do interviews with other people talking about stuff in their ordinary lives that have been interesting. Like my father, who retired military, he has some ideas of some stories that he wants to tell. But today's story is talking about how I got into reselling and the young reseller that I was. When I was young, in my early teens, I was really big into baseball cards. This was in the late 80s, early 90s, when baseball cards were real big back then. I'd gotten into them and I was collecting some of the newer stuff, but me being the history buff that I've always been, I started getting into the vintage stuff more than anything. So I was collecting a lot of the vintage, and I was kind of the oddball at the baseball card shows and so forth, because I was a young kid that was interested in vintage cards. But everybody started learning that I knew a lot about them, and that I knew what I was doing. At the same time, my mother was a antique dealer, and she'd do a lot of antique shows, mostly in Atlanta, and I'd go with her, supposedly to help. You know, I was a kid, I wasn't helping her, but I tried. But I'd go walk around, and from time to time I'd come back and relieve her and let her go to the restroom or go get something to eat. But she let me put a little card table out in front of her antique booth and put some cards on it. And it got kind of a little iffy there from time to time, because I would sell more than she would at the antique show. But that was interesting. But I did a lot of the early stuff, like the T206 tobacco cards, the early Goudies, the play balls, some of the early 50s Tops and Bowman and so forth. I was real big in Babe Ruth. I had, some Babe Ruth stuff and Ty Cobb and all that, which was odd for a kid to have that kind of stuff. Well, I say kid, I was about 14 or 15 when I had those cards. And if I couldn't afford a card, I would do brokering, because I knew people that would have high-end cards. I knew people that wanted high-end cards. So I would get paid to put these people together. And this was before the internet. So, it was kind of a lucrative deal for me. And I had a friend that sold cards. He was real big into the newer stuff. And he had this big truck that he traveled around the United States doing card shows. But I'd go sit with him, and we'd open packs and stuff like that. And one thing that I'd do to save money, I would sell individual cards, but I would find a set that I was really interested in, and I would put that set together. So I would slowly build up that set and put it together. And then once I had it all put together, I would sell the complete set. So it was kind of a forced, I would say, savings account, which was ingenious for a kid like me to do. I think one of the best sets that I put together was a 1939 play ball set. But I would put these sets together and then sell them, and then I'd have a sum of money to buy something else. And eventually, once I got 16, 17, that money turned into my other love was hot rods. So I would have, I bought a couple of hot rods and so forth. But one year, I was about 14 or 15. I think it was I'd just turned 15. I'd sold a set, and I had some money in my pocket burning a hole, and I wanted to buy something. So we were at this antique show, and I was walking around looking for stuff to buy to resell. And it was the building that it was in is kind of weird. It was kind of chopped up in different areas. And in the very back area, it was kind of dark in that area. There was an old guy that had a bunch of junk. I would say junk, had patina, rusted up stuff, man stuff like signs and so forth. But he had this motorcycle there, vintage motorcycle. And I fell in love with it. I didn't know what in the world I was looking at. But I talked with him about it, got the information. And I went back to my mother. I said, hey, I've got the money that I can buy this. And she was like, why do you need a motorcycle? First of all, you can't ride a motorcycle. Second of all, you don't know how to restore it. Why? And a typical teenager, I got huffy and puffy, and I was like, Mom, you've got the minivan. It's empty. We can put this motorcycle in and I can take it home. No, you're not buying a motorcycle. I think she even took the money from me that I had so I wouldn't go back there and buy it. I don't remember exactly, but come to find out, well, now that I look back at it and know what I was wanting to buy, this motorcycle was a 1921 Indian board track racer. And what that is back then the racetracks were made of boards. They had wood. And these board track racers, they had different types of handlebars on them. They were low, sleek, and everything. And they were made to go fast. But now that motorcycle is worth $100,000 or more. So, I look back at it. Mom was right. I'll admit it. Write that down today. I admitted my mother was right. I didn't need that motorcycle, but Lord, you look back at things that you've missed and like, oh my goodness. But talking about the baseball cards also, in reselling, the new, people are really excited about baseball cards again. So I think I'm going to get back into them. I've been buying a few here and there, and I've got the itch again. So those that follow my reselling journey, you'll start seeing some baseball cards here and there being sold. I'm going to collect some for my personal collection and some to sell. I think I'm going to do some non-sports cards and maybe do some basketball and football too and get into that. It's just another hobby to do. So, but that's the story of how I got started reselling, what I sold and what I lost. But if you enjoyed this little story, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. So maybe in the future you can hear another funny story or see what I'm doing in the future. Maybe we can get to go on a trip or something soon. But until next time, my friends, I love you. Bye.